It's now time for the Pac-12 predictions. Welcome back, everybody, to the Dependent Fanatic channel. The Pac-12 does not have divisions, so we're going to be starting from the bottom and working our way to the best team in the Pac-12 conference, according to me. This is the last conference. I've already done the 4 other Power 5 conferences, so here we go. Colorado and Coach Prime's first season. It's going to be a rough one. But I believe he'll be in the Colorado will be in the Big 12 next season. The Pac-12 is going to be very different after this season. So I hope you all are anxious to see what happens in the Pac-12. I think 6 teams are going to be really, really good. I think 8 of the 12 teams are going to go bowling. And so here are 4. We're going to start with the 4 that are not going bowling. Colorado has TCU on the road to open the season. That is a loss. Like I said, it's going to be rough. Nebraska at home is a loss. Colorado State, your in-state foes, I think you can beat them, but it's a toss-up still for me. I'm going to give you a win. Let's see, Dion and is it Shadur Sanders is the quarterback? I think they can get the job done at home versus Colorado State. But the next string of games at Oregon, USC at Arizona State, Stanford at UCLA, Oregon State are all losses. I think Arizona slips up and you beat them at home late in the season to get to 2 wins, but you lose your 2 road games to end the season at Washington State and at Utah. 2-10 for Colorado. Next up is Arizona State. They have a pretty easy opener here, SUU. Don't even remember who is that, Southern Utah University. Oklahoma State at home is a win, but then a 3-game skid. I struggled with Fresno State. You can beat them, but Fresno State is going to beat you, I think. USC at home is a loss. At Cal is a loss. Colorado at home is a win. Then you get your bye, but you're at Washington. Washington State, at Utah, at UCLA, Oregon, Arizona. Brutal. 6 games to end the season there. 3-9 for Arizona State. Next up is Cal. They will win at North Texas, and they will lose to Auburn at home, but you'll come back and beat Idaho at home. But then on the road at Washington is a loss. Arizona State is a win. Oregon State is a loss. At Utah is a loss. You get your bye before USC, but too much firepower, that is a loss. And at Oregon is a loss. You get your 4th win versus Washington State at home, but then you go on the road and lose 2 games to Stanford and UCLA. 4-8 for California. Next up is Stanford. New head coach, Troy Taylor. I think they're unsure of who their quarterback is going to be, but I think it is Justin Lamson. You can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about that. Stanford is going to go 4-8 as well. They'll beat Hawaii at Hawaii, but then they come back to the mainland, go to USC, and lose that game. Sacramento State, is that what that is a win. Arizona, Oregon are both losses. You get your bye before you go to Colorado, and I think you win that game. UCLA and Washington at Washington State, at Oregon State are all losses, but you get Cal at home. I think that's a win. And then Notre Dame is a loss. So 4-8 for Stanford. Now we're moving into the bowl game teams, and we start with Washington State. They are at Colorado State. That is a win. They host Wisconsin, but not enough to beat them. I don't think that is a loss. NCU at home, win. Oregon State is a loss. You get your bye before you go to UCLA, but that is a loss. Arizona at home, win. At Oregon, loss. At at Arizona State was a tricky one for me, but I give you the win there. Jake Dicker is a pretty good coach from what I am reading, and Cameron Ward is the guy at quarterback. I think you can win that game. You come home and then you beat Stanford. You go to Cal and lose, but Colorado at home is a win and at Washington is a loss. 6-6 for Washington State. Next up is Arizona. Jed Fish, been there a while. He has Jaden DeLaura at quarterback right now. There may be a competition, but that's the guy that I have been seeing pop up. Northern Arizona is a win. At Mississippi State, that's a loss, but UTEP at home is a win. At Stanford is a win. Washington at home, the biggest upset so far, that's a win for you. At USC is a loss, though at Washington State is a loss, but you get your bye before you host Oregon State. Give me the win for Arizona there. And UCLA, a win. At Colorado is a loss, a shocking loss, and then Utah is a loss as well. But at Arizona State is a win. So 7-5 for Arizona. Next up, through tiebreaker is UCLA. UCLA will go 8-4, and I believe Oregon State will go 8-4. But Oregon State beat UCLA, so here we go. Coastal Carolina is a win for UCLA. At San Diego State is a tricky game, but that's a win. NCCU win. So 3-0 before you go to Utah and lose that game. You get your bye week early after week 4. But it's a good spot. Washington State at home, you win that. At Oregon State is a loss. At Stanford, though, is a win. Colorado at home is a win. Arizona on the road is a loss. But Arizona State at home is a win, and at USC is a loss, but Cal is a win. So 8-4 for UCLA. And as I mentioned, Oregon State, they are at San Jose State to open the season. I think they win that game. You got UC Davis is a win, and then San Diego State is a win. But then you go on the road, your second road game, first in conference. At Washington State is a win. Utah at home is a loss. At Cal is a win. UCLA is a win. Then you get your bye week right in the middle of the season before you go to Arizona. But I think Jed Fish and the Wildcats surprise you. You get an L there. At Colorado is a win. Stanford is a win. Washington is a loss. At Oregon is a loss. And that is an 8-4 record for Oregon State. All right, your top 4 teams here. Washington is your number 4 team. Boise State at home is a win. Tulsa win. At Michigan State win. Cal win. So you start 4-0 before you go to Arizona and lose. Shouldn't be looking ahead. Your bye week is right after that, but I think they surprise you. So you get your bye before you have Oregon at home. And a great spot for that bye week. I think you beat Oregon. And then you beat Arizona State. You win at Stanford. But you go on the road to USC and you lose to Utah at home before you win your final 2 games at Oregon State and Washington State. 9-3 for Washington. And here we go, getting down to the nitty-gritty. Top 3 teams. Oregon is your number 3 team. Remember, the top 2 will go to the conference championship game. There are no divisions. Portland State is a win. At Texas Tech, win. Hawaii, Colorado, at Stanford, all wins. You get your bye before you go to Washington and lose that game. But you come home and you beat Washington State. And then at Utah is a loss, your second loss. Cal, you finish the season with wins. At Cal at home, USC, at Arizona State, and Oregon State. 10-2 for Oregon. Now here we go. The moment some of you have been waiting for. That's right. Utah is the number 2 team in the Pac-12. I went back and forth between Utah and USC, but they're going to play each other twice this season, according to my predictions. Florida at home is a win. Now this depends on what percentage of health Cam Rising, Utah's quarterback, has. That is going to be key. I think he's going to be ready to go, good enough to beat Florida at home. Then at Baylor is a win. Weber State win. UCLA is a win. At Oregon State win. You get your bye before you have Cal at home, which is a win. And then your only loss in the regular season is at USC. You beat them twice last year. I think it's USC's turn this season. Oregon at Arizona State, at Washington, at Arizona, and Colorado are all wins. So 11-1 for Utah. And that leaves Lincoln Riley, Caleb Williams, and the USC Trojans as the best team in the Pac-12 going into conference championship week. San Jose State is a win. Nevada, Stanford, at Arizona State, at Colorado, Arizona, at Notre Dame, Utah, at Cal, Washington are all wins. So 10-0 going into that Oregon game on the road in Autzen Stadium. I think that's where you slip up. Your one loss. You come back home and beat UCLA. 11-1 for USC. So, like I said, that will lead to a rematch between USC and Utah, both 11-1 in the conference championship game. And if you have watched the other 4 conference prediction videos that I had, you know that there is one spot available for a one-loss or better conference champion in my playoff predictions. The winner of this game will go to the playoff, and I think it's going to be USC. So there you have it. Lincoln Riley in year 2 will make the playoff and join Michigan, Georgia, and Texas in the playoff. I hope you guys enjoyed these. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. And I will be doing a top 25 for the Power 5. It's going to be these predictions, and I'm going to rank all of the 8-4 or better teams. The teams that I predict to go 8-4 or better, I'm going to rank them and then give you a final ranking going into the bowl season for every one of those teams. So thank you, everybody. Remember to like the video, share with others, subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see you on the next video. Enjoy this beautiful weekend. I hope you guys are staying cool out there, and have a great day, everybody.